Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Ato Jaya Udiyate Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So, reading from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 10, text number 105. Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vṛnda Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vṛnda Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vṛnda Śrī Gopāla Bhaṭṭa śākhā sarvottama rūpa-sanātana-saṅge yāṅra prema-ālāpana Śrī Gopāla Bhaṭṭa śākhā sarvottama rūpa-sanātana-saṅge yāṅra prema-ālāpana Śrī Gopāla Bhaṭṭa śākhā sarvottama rūpa-sanātana-saṅge yāṅra prema-ālāpana Śrī Gopāla Bhaṭṭa śākhā sarvottama rūpa-sanātana-saṅge yāṅra prema-ālāpana. Śrī Gopāla Bhaṭṭa śākhā sarvottama rūpa-sanātana-saṅge yāṅra prema-ālāpana. Śrī Gopāla Bhaṭṭa śākhā sarvottama rūpa-sanātana-saṅge yāṅra prema-ālāpana. Word to word meaning. Śrī Gopāla Bhaṭṭa. Śrī Gopāla Bhaṭṭa. Eka, one. Śakā, branch. Sarva-uttama, very exalted. Rūpa, Rūpa. Sanātana, Sanātana. Saṅge, company, yāṅra, hues, prema, love of Godhead, ālāpana, discussion. Translation. Śrī Gopāla Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, the 47th branch, was one of the great and exalted branches of the tree. He always engaged in discourses about love of Godhead in the company of Rūpa Gosvāmī and Sanātana Gosvāmī. So please repeat after me. Śrī Gopāla Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, the 47th branch, was one of the great and exalted branches of the tree. He always engaged in the discourses about love of Godhead in the company of Rūpa Gosvāmī and Sanātana Gosvāmī. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. Śrī Gopāla Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī was the son of Veṅkaṭa Bhaṭṭa, a resident of Śrī Raṅgam. Gopala Bhaṭṭa formerly belonged to the disciplic succession of Rāmānuja-sampradāya, but later became part of Gauḍīya-sampradāya. In the year 1433 śākhā, AD 1511, when Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu was touring South India, he stayed for 4 months during the period of Chaturmasya at the house of Veṅkaṭa Bhaṭṭa, who then got opportunity to serve the Lord to his heart's content. Gopala Bhaṭṭa also got the opportunity to serve the Lord at this time. Śrī Gopāla Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī was later initiated by his uncle, the great sannyasi Prabodhānanda Sarasvatī. Both the father and the mother of Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī were extremely fortunate, for they dedicated their entire lives to the service of Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu. They allowed Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī to go to Vrindaban, and they gave up their lives thinking of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. When Lord Caitanya was later informed that Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī had gone to Vrindavan and met Śrī Rūpa and Sanātana Gosvāmī, he was very pleased, and he advised Śrī Rūpa and Sanātana to accept Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī as their younger brother and take care of him. Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī, out of his great affection for Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, compiled a Vaishnava Smriti named Hari-bhakti-vilāsa and published it under his name. Under the instruction of Śrī Rūpa and Sanātana, Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī installed one of the 7 principal deities of Vrindavan, the Rādhāramaṇa Deity. The Saivites, the priest of Rādhāramaṇa temple, belonged to Gauḍīya-sampradāya. When Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami took permission from all the Vaishnavas before writing Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī also gave him his blessings, but he requested him not to mention his name in the book. Therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has mentioned Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī only very cautiously in 1 or 2 passages of Caitanya Charitamrita. Śrīla Jiva Goswami has written in the beginning of his Tattva Sandarbha, a devotee from southern India who was born of a Brahmana family and was a very intimate friend of Rūpa Gosvāmī and Sanātana Gosvāmī, has written a book that he has not compiled chronologically. Therefore, I am a tiny living entity known as Jiva. I am trying to assort the events of the book chronologically. Consulting the direction of great personalities like Madhvacharya, Sridhara Swami, Rāmānuja-charya and other senior Vaishnavas in the disciplic succession. In the beginning of Bhagavata Sandarbha, there are similar statements by Śrīla Jiva Goswami. Śrīla Gopāla Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī compiled a book called Satkriya Sara Deepika, edited the Hari-bhakti-vilāsa, wrote a foreword to the Sats Sandarbha of the commentary on the Krishna Karnamrita and installed the Rādhāramaṇa Deity in Vrindavan. In Gauraganodesha Deepika 184, it is mentioned that the previous name in the pastime of Lord Krishna was Ananga Manjari. Sometimes he is also said to have been an incarnation of Gunamanjari. Srinivasa Acharya and Gopinath Pujari were two of his disciples. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuru Anmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Śrī Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rūpam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Dvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaura Tvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dīnabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat after me. Śrī Rūpa Sanātana Bhaṭṭa Raghunātha Śrī Jiva Gopāla Bhaṭṭa Dasa Raghunātha. Here Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is writing, I also remember the 6 Goswamis, Rūpa Sanātana, Bhaṭṭa Raghunātha, Śrī Jiva Gopāla Bhaṭṭa and Dasa Raghunātha. And another thing which we can see is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, in each and every chapter, at the end of each and every chapter of Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, he writes one particular verse, always asking the blessings of both Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. Very nicely he talks about this thing. Śrī Rūpa Raghunātha Pade Yara Asha Caitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Dasa. So very beautifully he keeps asking their blessings again and again and again. Jaya Rūpa Sanātana Jiva Raghunātha Raghunātha Gopala Chaya Mauranātha. He says, all this Rupa Goswami, Sanātana Gosvāmī, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī and Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, they are all my masters. So today is a very, very auspicious day. The appearance day of Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī. And today is also the disappearance day of Ramachandra Kaviraj. And today is also, we are celebrating birthday of many devotees here, especially I think Rana Prabhu's daughter, So at 9 o'clock we will be having some cake cutting here. We will be worshipping the Lord and then offering the cake. So please, all of you, take part and give blessings, and then your well wishes to all the devotees, those who are born in this auspicious month of English month, January. So Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī is one of the very few, or not very few I can say, it's very rare that somebody who is in Śrī Sampradāya or Rāmānuja-sampradāya are taking up Gauḍīya-sampradāya. It's very, very rare actually. Even we can see when all these 6 Goswāmis, all of these things, second generation is gone and then third generation, during the time of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, at that time Radha Govindji has been moved to Jaipur because of Mughal kings, Muslim kings. They are ruling Delhi, Agra in that area, and they were attacking many temples and then demolishing the temples and destroying the deities. So the devotees, they are very scared, so they moved many deities from Vrindaban to Jaipur. Jaipur was being ruled by Hindu king at that time, Raja Man Singh. So that's why the devotees, they used to actually take the deities from here and then go to Jaipur and then keep the deities under the shelter of the king. King used to take care of in the Jaipur. That's why actually Jaipur is also known as second Vrindavan. Radha Govindji deity we can see in Jaipur, original deity. Now what we have in Vrindavan, what we see is the replica of Radha Govindji, as well as Radha Madan Mohan also. So when these Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they are worshipping this Radha Govindji in Jaipur, some of these 3 Vaishnavas, they came and objected to king, saying that this is not a bona fide sampradaya and they are not supposed to worship. Only worshipping should be done by the Rāmānuja-sampradāya. In fact, when you go back and see, when Sripada Rāmānuja-charya, when he was touring all over India, he used to go to each and every temple and he used to teach these pujaris or to the priests to worship in a proper way according to. Now we, in ISKCON we follow Pancharatrika Vidhi, but then in the Sri Sampradaya they follow different process. So he used to teach. That's why you find in all over India, even as on today, most of the temples all over India, not only in southern part, all over India, they follow the Sri Sampradaya way of worshipping the deities. But then, I mean, there is very wonderful pastime. But when Rāmānuja-charya, he went to Jagannath Puri, and then he saw the way they are worshipping Lord Jagannath, the Pandas, the pujaris, he was not really happy. He told them, this is not the way you worship Jagannath. He said, I will talk to king, I will inform to king about the way you are doing worshipping, which is not a proper way of worshipping Lord. So the next day morning he is supposed to go to king, but that night Lord Jagannath appeared in his dream, and then he told Rāmānuja-charya that leave Jagannath Puri immediately. The way they are worshipping, the pujaris are worshipping me in Jagannath Puri, I am very, very happy with their way of worshipping me. So please don't interfere in this. And to make Rāmānuja-charya understand it's not a dream, it's actually Lord Jagannath has appeared in his dream, appeared personally. Lord Jagannath, in the dream of Rāmānuja-charya, he picked him up and then just he pushed him like this. And as he pushed him, Rāmānuja-charya went back to the Kurmakshetra from Jagannath Puri. Kurmakshetra is in southern part of India. And then when next day morning when Rāmānuja-charya woke up from his sleep, surprisingly he found himself in Kurmakshetra. So that's how the Rāmānuja-charya used to actually go each and every places in entire India, and used to ask the devotees, pujaris, to worship according to their way of worshipping. the proper way. So then the Rāmānuja-sampradāya devotees, they came to the king, Jaipur king, and they told him this is not a proper sampradaya, so they are not supposed to worship. But then king said, no, they are wonderful, they are doing nice worship and all. They said, no, it is not proper sampradaya. Then king called the pujaris. Pujaris are from Gauḍīya-sampradāya, like from ISKCON as such. So then there was a discussion happened between both of them. There was arguments. And then finally, the one thing which they asked is, do you have commentary on Vedanta Sutra? So that time, the Gaudiya Vaishnava devotees, they said that, Srimad Bhagavatam is the commentary on Vedanta, and Vyasadeva who wrote it. Vyasadeva comes under our Sampradaya, that is Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya comes, so it is there already. They said, no, there should be the commentary on Vedanta Sutra, which Ramanujacharya, he wrote a commentary on Vedanta Sutra, is called as Sri Bhashya. So they also wanted to have the commentary. They said that's not the, actually it is a scripture, but that's not considered as the commentary from Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So then these devotees, they don't know what to do. Then they sent a messenger to Vrindavan, to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He is the kind of famous personality in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya at that time. So they informed Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he sent one of his disciples known as Baladev Vidyabhushan. And Baladev Vidyabhushan, he came to Jaipur, and then after discussing with this Rāmānuja-sampradāya devotees, he said, okay, I will make an attempt to write a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. And then he prayed to Govindji, and Govindji, he was instructing him, and then Baladev Vidyabhushan, he wrote. Within one night, he wrote the entire commentary on Vedanta Sutra, and next day morning, he submitted this sutta, and he submitted this book to them. As they read the book, and they could understand this is not an ordinary commentary, because his commentary is given by Govindji himself. That's why actually Baladev Vidyabhushan, he named the book as Sri Bhashya, Govinda Bhashya. So, we may have some copies. So one can read that book, which is the commentary of Baladev Vidyabhushan. That's why Baladev Vidyabhushan, Śrīla Prabhupada, he dedicated Bhagavad Gita to Baladev Vidyabhushan, who is the wonderful Acharya in our Gauḍīya-sampradāya. So this is what we can see. There is always, to understand the devotees from Rāmānuja-sampradāya coming into Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya is very, very rare. To understand that, either you should be in touch with some of the Śrī Sampradaya devotees, or you could have born in India, then we can understand. They are very, very strong, and the way they deal with the things, not like we Gaudiya Vaishnava devotees do it. So, Gopāla Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, he is born to Veṅkaṭa Bhaṭṭa. Veṅkaṭa Bhaṭṭa is again a Rāmānuja-sampradāya. He is the pujari, head pujari in Śrī Raṅga Kshetra in Ranganathji temple. So Veṅkaṭa Bhaṭṭa is having three brothers, two brothers, Prabodhānanda Sarasvatī and Tirumala Bhaṭṭa. So Veṅkaṭa Bhaṭṭa, his son is Gopal. At that time he is known as a Gopāla Bhaṭṭa or Gopal. So when Caitanya Mahāprabhu, after taken sannyas initiation, then he came to Jagannath Puri, and then in Jagannath Puri he delivered, or he preached to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and then after that he wanted to go to South India. So Caitanya Mahāprabhu, he visited South India. He went to Kurmakshetra, and then Visakhapatnam, and then Simhachalam, Mangalagiri, and Tirupati, and Kanchipuram. And then finally he reached Śrī Raṅgam. So when he reached Śrī Raṅgam, that time it is the Chaturmas. At that time, the sannyasis, they don't travel during the Chaturmas. So when Caitanya Mahāprabhu, he visited Lord Ranganath in ecstatic way, he was chanting and he was dancing. Those devotees there who are looking at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they could see that he is not an ordinary person. Veṅkaṭa Bhaṭṭa immediately requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to stay at his home. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at the home of Veṅkaṭa Bhaṭṭa, which is very close to Ranganathji temple. Even as on today, this Veṅkaṭa Bhaṭṭa home is there as it is, and as well as the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is staying, even we can visit that place even as on today. The place is renovated, and then it is not under ISKCON as such, but it is a nice place. We can go and visit this place even as on today. So Gopala Bhaṭṭa was being asked to serve Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. So Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, he used to serve Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. That time he is a small boy of 7 years old. And then Gopala Bhaṭṭa, as he was serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he could understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different than Krishna himself. He is Krishna himself. So Gopala Bhaṭṭa used to always think, and he used to curse his misfortune, that why he could not take birth in Bengal, in Mayapur. There he could have seen the Leelas of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu as a Grihastha. So one day he got a dream. In his vision, he could see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and Advaita Acharya. All these associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are chanting in the streets of Navadvip. So he was also part of that kirtan party. As he was enjoying, suddenly he found Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya. They are coming towards him to talk to him something. So when they are about to speak, his dream broke up, and then he got up from the sleep. Then he ran immediately to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told him, don't tell this dream to anyone else, just keep it with you. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he showed him the original form of Lord Krishna. And then he blessed Gopala Bhaṭṭa, saying that once after serving your father and mother, when they go back to the spiritual world, come to Vrindavan and live in Vrindavan. There you will meet your brothers Rūpa Gosvāmī and Sanātana Gosvāmī. You will be initiating so many devotees, and then your devotees, those disciples, will be spreading this message of Hare Krishna Mahamantra to the entire world. And after some days, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he left Rangakshetra, and then he went back to Jagannath Puri. So then Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, he served his father and mother very nicely, wonderfully. And after that, Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, when they are on the deathbed, they requested Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī to go to the Vrindavan and then serve Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. And then they left this material world and went back to the spiritual world. So Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, then he reached Vrindavan. So in Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, daily from Gambhīra, he used to visit Tota Gopinath, where Gadadhar Pandit used to recite at Tota Gopinath, and every day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he used to listen to Gadadhar Pandit's purports or lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam. Every day they used to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So as one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Tota Gopinath and then took darshan of Tota Gopinath, and then they were sitting and then talking about discussing various topics in Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu especially used to hear 7th canto very much. He is very much attracted to Prahlad's pastimes. He used to hear again and again and again. These Prahlad pastimes as well as the Dhruva pastimes, these two he used to hear. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told Gadadhar Pandit, for some reason, for a long time, I did not hear anything from Vrindavan. Why they are not sending me any messages? As he was saying this thing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is thinking, I wonder whether Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī is reached to Vrindavan or not. Right at that moment, one messenger, he came from Vrindavan, and then he informed Caitanya Mahāprabhu that Gopāla Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī is reached Vrindavan, and then Rūpa and Sanātana Gosvāmī, they are very happy to receive him. And they send a message to Caitanya Mahāprabhu that our brother came to Vrindavan, and we are very, very happy to receive him and be in his association in Vrindavan. And Caitanya Mahāprabhu felt very happy, and then he gave his kaupin and then external garments, and then the wooden seat where he always used to sit and do his puja. He offered these things to Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, and of course he gave other things to other Goswamis also. So Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, seeing this kaupin and the Caitanya Mahāprabhu's external garments, he could understand the mind of Caitanya Mahāprabhu, that Caitanya Mahāprabhu wanted him to take sannyas. So then Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, he took sannyas, and then he resided in Vrindavan under the guidance of Sanātana Gosvāmī and Rūpa Gosvāmī. So Sanātana Gosvāmī and Rūpa Gosvāmī, they asked Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī to worship Radha Govindji. So Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī is worshipping Radha Govindji. When Caitanya Mahāprabhu disappeared from this earthly planet and went back to the spiritual world, so that time Caitanya Mahāprabhu appeared in the dream of Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī and told him that he should worship me in the form of a Shaligram Sila. So then the Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, he informed Rūpa Gosvāmī and Sanātana Gosvāmī that this is the request of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu. So then Rūpa Gosvāmī, he mentioned that if it is a desire of Caitanya Mahāprabhu, one should follow it. So Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, then he went to Kali Gandaka river, which is in Nepal, and then he got 12 Saligram Silas, and then he brought back and he started worshipping these 12 Saligram Silas. Once it happened that one of the merchant, very wealthy merchant devotee, he came to Vrindavan, and then he offered ornaments, gold ornaments and then different kinds of ornaments to the deities. Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, when he received these ornaments, he started crying and weeping, saying that if there is a deity, I can happily offer these ornaments, but I cannot offer these ornaments to Shaligram Sila. Anyhow, he offered those ornaments to the Shaligram Sila. Then that day, it happened to be Narasimha Chaturdasi. Then he prayed to Supreme Personality of Godhead, saying that you as a Narasimha, on this day you appeared from the stone pillar. So if you wish, you can appear from these stones in a beautiful, beautiful form. Saying these words, and then he did Shayanarati, and then he closed the deities, put them to rest, and then he went back to sleep. And next day morning, he got up and then went to Yamuna and take bath. And then when he came back and saw, one of the Shaligram Sila, Damodar Shila, took a form of a beautiful, beautiful form of Krishna. Then seeing this form, immediately Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, he informed Rūpa and Sanātana. They came running, seeing this miracle which is happened from how come the Shaligram Sila is transformed into the deity of Lord Krishna. When they came and they saw, they were so wonderstruck, amazed looking at the deity. The deity is looking so beautiful. It's a mystic smile. And then the deity appears to be got the features of the main deities of Vrindavan, that is Radha Madan Mohan and Radha Govindji and Radha Gopinath. So Rādhāramaṇa is having features of all these three deities, which are actually called as the Caitanya Mahāprabhu. When he was teaching his teachings to Rūpa Gosvāmī and Sanātana Gosvāmī, he talked about the three truths which are imbibed in our philosophy, that is Sambandha Jnana, Abhideya and Prayojana. Sambandha Jnana is establishing our relationship with the Supreme Lord, and the Murti for Sambandha Jnana is Radha Madan Mohan. And then Abhideya is the process which we follow in performing a devotional service. And that Murti is Sri Radha Govindji. And the Prayojana is the ultimate benefit or ultimate devotional service. We perform the prema bhakti, that is Shri Radha Gopinath. So it says that, Acharya says that the Rādhāramaṇa Deity is have the features of all these three deities including together. So when we take darshan of Rādhāramaṇji, it's as good as we are taking the darshan of all these three deities. Radha Madan Mohan and Radha Govindji and as well as Radha Gopinath, all these three deities. So then Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī started worshipping Rādhāramaṇji. Once Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, he visited Haridwar. At that time, as he was going, there is a huge storm happened. So at that time, he took shelter in one of the Brahmana's house. And the Brahmana served Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī very nicely. And Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī was very happy with this Brahmana. As the Brahmana did not have any sons, Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, he blessed him that may you have a son who will be the wonderful devotee of Lord Krishna. So that time the Brahmana said, if I get a son, my first son, I will be offering it to you and he will be serving you. So, but Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī did not remember this thing actually. When he came back to Vrindavan and he started serving Rādhāramaṇji, after 20 years he found one small boy sitting as he was coming from Yamuna. He saw this small boy sitting there and then he asked this boy, who are you? Who is your father? The boy said, I am coming from Haridwar. My father sent me to serve you. Then Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī could understand that is the Brahmana sent his son to serve Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī. So Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī initiated him and that person has become as a Gopinath Pujari and used to worship Rādhāramaṇji there regularly. And Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī also initiated Srinivasa Acharya. Srinivasa Acharya is again, we don't have much time. It's a beautiful pastime. Srinivasa Acharya is the first ever book distributor in the history of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Srinivasa Acharya and Narottam Das Thakur and Shyamananda Pandit. So Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, he lived in Vrindavan and then finally when Rūpa Gosvāmī and Sanātana Gosvāmī, they left this planet. And then Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī, he lived with Jiva Gosvāmī and as well as Raghunath Dasa Gosvāmī. So we will discuss about little bit, maybe it's also very wonderful pastimes of Ramachandra Kaviraj. Very beautiful actually. There is again connection between the Gopala Bhaṭṭa Gosvāmī and Ramachandra Kaviraj also. There is near to the Mayapur, there is a place is known as Śrīkanda. Śrīkand and Jajigram, these two are nearby towns, kind of a twin villages next to each other. Srinivasa Acharya is born in Jajigram, whereas Ramachandra, he was born in Śrīkanda. Śrīkanda is also well known for Narhari Sarkar. He is born in Śrīkanda, Narhari Sarkar. He lived in Śrīkanda. And even the great devotee Raghunath is also from Śrīkanda. And Murari is also from Śrīkanda. So Raghunath is the son of Murari. So it's very beautiful. Mukunda. It's a very beautiful pastimes actually. So it happened that there is a person, his name is Damodar Kaviraj. He is a great devotee of Mother Durga, Bhavani. He used to worship Bhavani. And he is a scholar and he likes to debate with the scholars and his relishment is to defeat them. When they are defeated, he used to relish very much. Once it happened that he was debating with one of the greatest scholar and he defeated the greatest scholar. And as he defeated, the scholar got upset and then he cursed Damodar Kaviraj saying that in this life Damodar Kaviraj, he just recently married, and then he is about to start his family. When he heard this curse, he was very scared. And then he fell at the feet of this scholar, and then he started serving this scholar and worshipping this scholar. And he served him so much, the scholar was finally satisfied with this service. And scholar told Damodar Kaviraj, I cannot take back my curse. In this lifetime, you will never get a son, but you will get a daughter. So that's what he gave benediction to him. So then Damodar Kaviraj, he got a daughter. Her name is Sunanda. And then Sunanda, she married Chiranjeeva Sen, who is the eternal associate of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. And to both of them born illustrious, beautiful, exalted son named as Ramachandra. Later on he is known as Ramachandra Kaviraj. Ramachandra is also having a brother, his name is Govinda. So it happened that when Sunanda was pregnant and about to deliver Govinda, and the child is not coming out of mother's womb. And it's so painful for mother. Mother is struggling. And then she sent her servant maid to her father, to Damodar Kaviraj, to inform about her condition. That time when the maid approached father, that is Damodar Kaviraj, he was worshipping Mother Durga. And the maid informed him that your daughter is going through so much pains and unable to deliver a baby. Then he gave the sword of Mother Durga to the servant maid, and he told her to do abhishek. So she did the abhishek for this sword, and then took the abhishek water, and then offered it to Sunanda. Sunanda, the moment she drank this water, immediately, without any pains, she delivered a boy. And then they named the boy as a Govinda. And the Govinda, when he learnt about how he was born, he also became as the great devotee of Mother Durga. So when Ramachandra, he got married in Srikhanda, and is coming to his in-laws' place in Jajigram. So at that time, Srinivasa Acharya, he is sitting in his courtyard and is giving a lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam. Ramachandra, he just got married. He is walking back to his place. As he was walking back with all the decorations, Srinivasa Acharya saw that Ramachandra is decorated and he is walking with his wife. Srinivasa Acharya saw Ramachandra also saw Srinivasa Acharya. And the moment they both eyes met, there is a connection of love and affection between each other. And Ramachandra, without knowing himself, he started walking towards Srinivasa Acharya. When he came to Srinivasa Acharya told him, you spent so much money and energy in taking a rope, putting it around your neck to hang yourself. And Ramachandra could understand what Srinivasa Acharya meant. And Ramachandra immediately asked Srinivasa Acharya, can you please explain more on this? And then he sat with his wife, with Srinivasa Acharya, and he started learning Srimad Bhagavatam. And they sat full day and full night. And Ramachandra expressed his desire to become a devotee and asked Srinivasa Acharya to initiate him. Srinivasa Acharya initiated Ramachandra. And after some days, Ramachandra, he visited his brother Govinda. And Govinda, seeing Ramachandra, how is this? You become so effulgent, and whatever you are speaking is such a philosophically true, and you are so nice in speaking, and you are so blissful. What is that? It made you so much different than previous. Then Ramachandra told, I have taken initiation from Srinivasa Acharya, now I have become Hare Krishna devotee. Then Sri Govinda, he said, I also want to become like that, but I am the devotee of Mother Durga. How can I become devotee of Krishna? How can I get initiation into this sampradaya? Then at that time, Mother Durga spoke to Govinda and told Govinda that I am the servant of a servant of a servant of Lord Krishna. So you please go ahead and then take initiation. I will be very, very happy if you take initiation. So Govinda also came to Srinivasa Acharya and he took his initiation. So this, when Govinda came to take initiation to Sri Jajigram, by that time Srinivasa Acharya, he went to in Vrindaban. Then Ramachandra and Govinda, then they decided they also want to go to Vrindavan. So they visited Vrindavan. When Ramachandra visited Vrindavan, then Vrindavan, the devotees, they are talking, some exalted person is here. He speaks such a nice, wonderful poetry, and then whatever he is speaking is just like a song, it's like a singing. Then everybody were surprised looking at Ramachandra. Jiva Goswami asked Srinivasa Acharya, do you know this person? Then Srinivasa Acharya said, that may be my disciple Ramachandra. So Ramachandra came to Sri Radha Damodar temple where Jiva Goswami, he embraced him. And then hearing his poems, the way the Ramachandra speaks poetry, Jiva Goswami gave him the title as a Ramachandra Kaviraj. So similarly, Govinda also became as a Sri Govinda Kaviraj. So these two brothers, they wrote such a wonderful, wonderful poems. Even we sing every day, and most of the times we sing this song, Bhajahure Mana Sri Nandana is written by Sri Govinda Kaviraj. So like this, Ramchandra Kaviraj, I mean, there is a lot to talk about Ramchandra Kaviraj. He has become as a very, very close associate of Narottam Das Thakur. By the order of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, Srinivasa Acharya offered Ramachandra Kaviraj to Narottam Das Thakur and then told him, now onwards he is under your care. Please take care of my disciple Ramachandra Kaviraj. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told to Srinivasa Acharya, please leave Ramachandra with Narottam Das Thakur. They are both going to preach and they are going to change the entire world. So, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire, Ramachandra and as Ramachandra Kaviraj and Narottam Das Thakur, they both of them, they preached to the Bengal. They preached to many, many people actually, many, many kings. Even the dacoits, they are all become as the devotees. They are actually, both of them, it appears to be two different bodies but one soul. That is the Ramachandra Kaviraj and Narottam Das Thakur. Even we can see Narottam Das Thakur's bhajans also. Many places he writes Ramachandra Sangamange Narottama. And moreover, when Ramachandra Kaviraj, when he went to Vrindavan and to visit many, many acharyas there, he could not bear the separation from the acharyas, Ramachandra Kaviraj. He left his body in Vrindavan itself. And hearing this, already Srinivasa Acharya left to spiritual world and Ramachandra Kaviraj also left. And that's the time Narottam Das Thakur, he wrote Jayanilo Premadana. And he wrote, the first line he actually talks about Srinivasa Acharya. And then again the last line he talks about, as he is not getting the association of Ramachandra, he wanted to break his head, hitting onto the stone. That's what Narottam Das Thakur, he writes in this bhajan. It's a beautiful, beautiful pastime. There are so many pastimes about Ramachandra Kaviraj and Narottam Das Thakur, but due to my inability, I'm not able to explain all those things. So we'll stop here. I hope there are no questions. So as we have to proceed to our celebrations. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Grandharaj Srimad Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai.